I'm going to ask you heaps of annoying questions, mate.
I could just imagine.
So me and Hilly have only worked together for maybe 12 months, if that. He is in my eyes, and I know his finances. Okay, he is successful. He is not just successful based on wealth, but he's very, very, very passionate, okay? He's doing big things. A lot of people are seeing the big things that he's doing. His head's slightly inflated right now, but it will be all right. But he's humble as shit, like super humble guy. Now, there's a reason that he's moving very fast. He almost doesn't have attachment to money. Not massive attachment to money, but he knows how to leverage it. He's smart enough financially to know how to use it to bring his passion alive. So he's got lots of wisdom that I want to bring to the table, so you get the fruits of that. Let's kick it off with maybe just a minute or so about you, your business, like just a bit about yourself. Most of these guys know you.
I know a few years in there, so how you going, lads? Oh, look, I've only really been pumping the building business for probably like hard for 4 years, but before that, I've always been in the building game. Before that, I've always done development. So, you know, bought my first house, I think 20, got myself in debt straight away. Been in debt ever since, still in debt. And then, yeah, and just did developments from there on in. I don't know how many, I'm not too sure, maybe 10 to 15 or something developments so far. Probably could have done a bit more at the start, but obviously I went overseas for a while and stuff like that. Footy was sort of a bit of a life, but yeah, no, really into development. Like I said, as he's talking about, I've always leveraged money. Without that, you know, there's no way in the world you'd be able to get to where you want to be. And I've done interest rates that are high, I've done interest rates that are low, but at the end of the day, it's never been, for me, the leverage of money's never been a problem. I don't really, to be honest, I don't really care about it. I just wanted to get to where I want to be. I've paid a lot of money to be able to get loans before, so I've been on the good end and the bad end, so yeah.
So you perfectly went to where I wanted to start, mate, which is talk to me about, like, you have done that. You've gone to high interest rate places to get what you wanted to get done. You didn't go, oh no, I'll just wait till next year and we'll just wait and see what happens and if we can make it. You hustled. That's what we've got in common. I've been told no more than I've been told yes, but I've got my hands on the money and it's got me ahead. Just talk to me a little bit about that, like paying higher interest rates to get to where you wanted to be.
Well, I just look at the end goal. I always look at the end goal of, mate, there's been times where I've maxed myself out a few times and I couldn't get any more money off a bank. I won't name banks, but it's one of the big banks. I took all my loans away from them because they couldn't get me another loan. They didn't think I would, but I did, and I took every one of them away in 2 weeks and took them somewhere else to be able to get another property. I was fully maxed out at the time. This was probably about, I'd say 7 years ago. I was fully maxed out. So, and a lot of the times I've gone and bought property without even securing a loan just to get the property. So I've actually put my money down and hoped that I'd get a loan in 4 weeks. It was 5 weeks. So that definitely puts you under a bit of stress. But I will try and get money no matter what, wherever it's from, to get that end game. So, you know, I've had rates, well, I'm doing one now, rates at 5%, but I know what it's going to be. We're actually doing the refinance now, so I can leverage more money. So, but on a better rate, but I'm leveraging one property at the moment, you know, trying to get about, I just pretty much said to them, you just get as much as you can out of that one property, and then I'll use that money to leverage again. So, yeah, mate, you have, from what I do, I don't know what you guys want to do, but I've always had to leverage money.
And I've seen him do it, and I've seen banks say no, and I've seen him say yes, and I've seen once we can get to the next level and get better, cheaper finance, I've also seen that happen. So this is why he is succeeding, is because he's very passionate. He has an amazing product and an amazing business, but he knows how to leverage. Okay, when banks say no, he doesn't say, oh, okay, I understand, I'll come back to the grocery store 2 years later. The market's already gone gangbusters by then, correct?
Yep.
Let's segue into the next question, right? COVID, right? Yep. For you tell your story, right? I know your story. Like, once again, not all bells and whistles.
Yeah, I'll do it real quickly. had a best mate that passed away a year and a half ago, so we're up there visiting him. On the way back, me and the missus on the way back, and that's when COVID started to kick in, so we pulled into Port Macquarie and we went to, people were leaving the hotel as well, like shit, we better stay here for a night or two, and then we only just purchased a property to develop, and when you hear that kicked in, you're like, well shit, what do I do? I had all intention to develop and then sell it within 6 months. But then you start having some things go through your head. You just borrowed all this money, and you know, should I rent it out? Should I not? Slept on it for 2 nights up there, and then got back, and I just said to myself, "Well, stuff it. I don't know what's obviously happening here with this COVID stuff, as no one did." And I just said that I'm just going to come whatever it is, whether it's through COVID or after COVID or before it, I'm just going to push through and just come out with a really good product at the end of it, and just hopefully the product takes care of itself. And we just went for it. So and it worked out. So, but you know, sometimes you don't think it is, especially when you got that much money hanging over your head. But it worked out. So you just got to keep pushing through. I think persisting. I think that's the biggest word that I always use lately, is persistence on things. The loan we're doing now, mate, I bought a property, a really good property. It's my home, one that I've wanted to get for a while, a big block of land, and I just got on a higher interest rate just to get it. I knew I was getting it at a really good price, and when you're in business and you've leveraged yourself with that much debt, sometimes, I'm sure as you'll know, that it's easier to walk in with 2 pay slips and get a loan than what it is to. It doesn't matter how good your business is going, if they see any risks there, they'll say no. So 2 years later, I was only hoping to be on that loan for no more than 12 months. 2 and a bit years later, and we're refinancing it now to leverage money out of it again, to go again. So 12 months longer than what I wanted, but yeah.
And the most admirable thing about you that I've seen is, and once again, just give what you want to give, it hasn't always been happy days. There's been some loss along the way, okay, in terms of money, okay? Things gone bad, things gone sour, fear of loss, fear of, oh shit, okay? Yet he still comfortably borrows money, still comfortably is taking bigger opportunities, still comfortably is like eye on the prize with passion and purpose. So I think most people would lose some money, lose some that have some impact, and they'd just sort of go, oh shit, I was right. My parents were right. It's like, that wasn't the case. You kept hustling. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, obviously I've done a fair few developments, and the biggest one I've ever done, I lost a lot of money on. Dragged on for about 3 years. Someone went into liquidation, and I won't go too far into the people, but
you come in here a bit.
Yeah, but lost you could say a lot, hundreds. So, but during that time, still, it's hard to keep your head in the position you need it, thinking straight. But at the end of the day, you still had to leverage money through that period to be able to get more, to be able to do the other developments on the outside of that. But you got to, I don't know. Yeah, I've always say you got to fall pretty hard. I fell pretty hard, but you just had to keep going through it. So that dragged on for about 3 years. It's only really just ended, but during that time I've done numerous developments as well, and leveraged money from, second tier lenders, the Trobes, Peppers, whatever, So, but when it's only a short period of time, I don't really give a shit if it's 8% or fucking 2%, to be honest, because I'm not having it for 30 years. So I just do it for the first 12 months if I need to, if I can't get a good one, and realistically I might pay an extra 10 or 20 grand. I've paid 25 grand just to get a loan before, so just to nothing.
And before we go into the next point, Eden's just put a quick note in the chat box. What was your biggest lesson from the loss? So take it away, Juzzy.
Biggest lesson from the loss: really work out who you want to do business with. Study the shit out of it, to be honest. Look, we were pretty young, inexperienced. I'm talking like a development that was 21 million in sales, 22 million in sales. So maybe I dove in a bit too big, but with me, I don't really care. Like, the only thing I care about is obviously the family end, and that they've always got a home. But I delved pretty deep, maybe too deep. I'd probably do that one again now. It did end up working for someone, so it was the right one. But I think really work out who you're going to do business with. That's what I learnt. Be around the people you want to be around, because that's sort of what probably wrecked it in the end. I could do that development with the eyes closed now, I know that. But yeah, really work out who you're working with.
And the development that you are doing now, which you're doing, I don't know if you're doing with your eyes closed. You probably could, right? Tell me about that, because that's nuts. That's huge. People have seen it on social media.
Yep.
So for you to go through these levels of adversity, have loss, and you're like still leveraging the debt, man. You're still getting ahead, and now you're into this, which is like insane. Just I suppose paint a little bit of a picture about that, because that's super big.
So was always looking for another development, and obviously something that I can push the boundaries a bit more on. And I was sort of thinking of going that big. It's just a beautiful big home, but it's gonna, well, it's already handshake. It's gonna absolutely smash records up here. But big outlay at the start. The build is very expensive, but I got taken to the site and just seen straight away that this is the one. Someone was going through not a rough time, but just they got plenty of money, but it just wasn't working out for them. So I quickly got a funder to help fund me at what 7.9%, 7.95%. Bought the site for 2.4 million, and then put what money I need to put into it, and I've leveraged it. I'll leverage it for 14 months. I'll probably pay 300 grand to do that, and the end result's going to be big. So we've already, in 2.5 weeks, we've already, we'll keep it dark on this, but it's pretty much sold. But it's going to, like I said, it's going to cost me, I knew it was going to cost me 300 grand. At the end of it, I could have went into a point where you're selling a home where not many people the market's probably about that big. So the risk was probably pretty high, but I knew the end product would be able to get it. But yeah, I'm definitely paying the money to get the money.
Paying the money to get the money. Rocky, okay, Rocky. Large chunk of money, large return on capital, large money in the bank. Like that's the principle here. It's not anything different. The principles stay the same, do they not?
Yep.
The principles stay the same. The opportunities are bigger. The return percentage or ROI is the same, but the money is bigger. And it doesn't matter if you apply this to business, it doesn't matter if you apply this to property, to small developments, to bigger developments. It's just principles that stay the same.
Well, for instance, you might be, so even the upfront for you is 60K. So to do this sort of development finance and do it that quick, so you put the 7 and the 6, you might be up to about 10% or 9% by you pay it. And you're thinking, oh shit, but when you do the numbers, it was probably spitting out 25, and then all of a sudden when you finish it, it spits out nearly 50. So it's look, at the end of the day, mate, it's never phased me. So it just depends if borrowing money does phase you. I didn't come from money, so it doesn't really bother me. I just enjoy doing it, to be honest, and I will get the money however way I can.